quick because we can see ourselves.
All right, we are live.
What's up, guys? It's Titan Lifestyle. We're live. It's Friday once again. The cold weather came back.
It did.
The cold weather came back.
It
I'm
did.
miserable. Miserable when it's cold. Anything below 75, I'm miserable. But hey, it could be worse. It could be snowing. It could be sleet.
Yes.
I think Detroit's like an ice.
Yeah,
So Detroit,
I know Chicago is too. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's not looking good up north for sure. I definitely am happier to be down here. It's 65 degrees. Yeah, it's not warm for us.
Yeah.
But it ain't freezing, it ain't snowing,
Yeah.
and we ain't got to deal with no damn ice.
No coats, no gloves, no winter hats, just a hoodie is all we need. So.
Yeah, I mean this is the maximum thing of it right now.
Yeah.
You know. So thank God for that, and thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, TGIF. It's Friday. Back at it. Titan Lifestyle. We're
Yeah.
on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, also YouTube. If you guys, girls, are on YouTube, hit the bell so you're notified of these videos,
Yes.
and also subscribe.
Yes.
Let's see who's on real quick.
Yeah, I see.
Anthony Holder just joined. See if we get TikTok and Facebook up. But yeah, today's Titan Lifestyle. We'll be going to Therapy of the Week, Titan events, 2 crazy topics, and also my favorite part, Q&A. So get your questions ready. We'll put our thinking caps on.
Yep.
And get to it.
All right. We got Dana in here. What's going on? So, let's just talk about Therapy of the Week, and then I'm sure we'll get asked about this as more people get joined in here. So, Therapy of the Week this week is $25 off any of our immune boosting therapies. Now, obviously, we're here in Florida. We service nationwide. People are sick here in Florida, and people are sick all around the country, right? And if you're in really, really cold weather, like you're usually affected by it a little bit more because you're going into hot, cold, just like we're affected here right now because it was a lot warmer and then it's getting cold and back and forth. Either way, you want to boost your immune system as much as possible. And it might not even be you sick. It might be you going around somebody you don't even know is sick. And at that point, you start getting those germs and that bacteria, and then you start getting sick. So what can you do? And that's really about being preventative, not just about your health, but about your immune system. And there's a multitude of different therapies that we offer to really help build your immune system. So you can go out there and at least have some sort of protection or some sort of fortification of your immune system, and so it can help defend you off. Think about it like going out to war back in the old days and you had armor. Well, this is your interior armor, defending you off from all the nasty crud that's out there. So with this, glutathione, obviously a super antioxidant, very, very good for not just the liver functions, but for building and fortifying the immune system. Yeah. Triimmune, which got glutathione in it, vitamin C and zinc, it's just an upgrade. It's really, really potent, and it's great too for fortifying the immune system, getting over colds faster with the zinc, and helping yourself out as much as possible. The only other one that I would add into that would be TA1, thymosin alpha 1. This is a peptide therapy. It actually works with T cells in the body. And T cells, if you don't know what those are, there's 2 different types of T cells. There's little cells, they're called the killer cells, and they go out and they hunt down these bad cells, these sick cells, and eradicate them. And at that point, the helper cell come back and they fix the cell and make it healthy again. So this is an immune system boosting therapy that is out of this world. So if you're looking for one of these different immune system boosters, please call or text us. Ask us about it. If you guys have questions here, great. If you guys want to talk to the medical staff here, you guys can call or text them and talk to them about it. And remember, $25 off. But it ends today. This has been going on all week. And I'll give you a little insight for next week. Next week is going to be 10% off our weight loss therapies. So you can get a sneak peek. If you say the code, Big Drew, at that point, you'll get the 10% off today. But you got to say the code or you will not get the 10% off today. You'll have to wait till next week, and you'll still have to say the code to get it.
Yeah, 10% is good. That's $55 off semaglutide, $65 off Peptide,
and $85 off retatrutide.
Yeah, so that's big time savings. Now, with the $25 off for today, can they get all 3?
Sure.
So they can stack all 3.
$25 off the immune system booster, and if you want 10% off the weight loss therapies, please go ahead, take advantage of it, utilize it. And at that point, you can have a great immune system. If you're going to those public gyms and you're lifting those weights with all the bacteria and all that, because listen, we try to be as clean as possible, right? And even when, like, me and Drew go to the gym, I know Drew has a towel, and he puts the towel down, and he wants to make sure that he's not letting anybody else's sweat, because you can absorb this through the biggest thing on your body, and it's skin.
Yeah.
Skin absorbs.
Yeah.
It absorbs. So if you're laying on sweat, or people even bump into you, this is kind of why, over the years I've gotten to the point where I'm not a germaphobe.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
But I'm like
Yeah.
to a certain extent where like.
Yeah.
If I don't know you, I don't want to be rubbing up against you.
Yeah.
So I'm not good with conscious in a pit or big EDC things where I'm next to people and rubbing up against people that are sweating and I have no idea. Yeah. Because this is how germs pass. I mean, you don't think it like that.
I think the number one thing too for me is like as soon as I get home, I have to like wash my hands, get all the outdoor off me right here. Yeah. This is what's causing most of your germs.
And think about it, you put it in your face too, right?
Yeah, I see people, they go to the gym, they take their phone, and they literally set it down on the floor. Oh. They set it on a machine. Oh. They touch the dumbbells, and they grab their phone, and they're in between. So they'll go to the bathroom and wash their hands, but then they'll grab their phone that they literally just touched on every machine. Yes. So get some sanitized wipes. That's what I recommend. Yeah. Have some little wipes. Yep. Just keep them at home. So as soon as you get home, wash your hands, wipe off your phone. Now you know you're basically better germ-free. Yeah. I have a bad habit that I come home, I immediately wash my hands. It's like I've been doing it for years, but I need to start doing my phone too. So the phone is the main thing. And then not only that, just like John said, you're touching your phone to your face. Yeah. So it's like you put it face down on the floor, then you pick it up and you touch it on your face, and then you grab a dumbbell, and then you grab your phone. It's just, it's bad.
I think we're all guilty of that, right?
And then when you use the bathroom too, people always grab their phone in the bathroom. They're reading on their phone, and they're in the bathroom, so you gotta be careful with the phone.
Yeah, you gotta just be more conscious, right? Yeah. And you think like I'm a pretty clean person. Like I wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom, maybe like that. But like what you're talking about, and I'm guilty of it, just like probably everybody else is, right? I'll usually just put my phone in my pocket and on the floor because everybody's stepping on the floor and everything's germs are there, right? Yeah. But at that point, like I'll pull my phone out in between sets sometimes, and I'll start looking, and everybody touches dumbbells, and right, and then I won't even think about it, and somebody might call me, and usually I have my Bluetooth in, so I won't have to touch the phone, put it in my face, but there have been times when I've had to put the phone up, or at least put it on speakerphone close to my mouth, so at that point I think, that's a good thing. We got some good questions coming in here.
Yeah, we got some good ones. Shout out to Jennifer, shout out to...
said, how are you doing?
Josie, how are you today?
Yeah.
How can you be this perfect slay? That's a good hashtag right there.
Thank you.
Good question by Jennifer. What are some immune benefits, boosting benefits of vitamin C?
Wow, so vitamin C is another antioxidant. So at this point, it's one of the other good antioxidants for the body. And antioxidant, what does that mean? So oxidation, oxidative stress, these are things that harm the body, can actually harm DNA in our body and actually break down things in our immune system. So vitamin C is an antioxidant, so it goes against that, and it also repairs our immune system, right, to a certain extent. And when we talk about our immune system, we also have to talk about our microalbumin, our gut, because that is where this really takes place too as well. So this can help out that a little bit. It's not going to help your gut. So if you're thinking, I'm going to take antioxidants to help my gut, like that's not going to do that. But the bacteria is a whole different story, and that can be done with food and probiotics, prebiotics, and all these different things. So
I hear a lot of people saying vitamin C too. Oh, it's water soluble. You're going to flush it out. That's only if it's oral. Vitamin C is actually an injectable as well.
Yes.
Which actually works obviously better because it's injectable, where you're not going to excrete anything out, and you're not going to have to deal with the heartburn. Because I know a lot of times when people take oral vitamin C, they get the 1,000 milligrams. They get sick. They take a handful of them, which is fine on a milligram, microgram basis. But all those fillers and all that compound, since it is acidic, it's going to give you that heartburn. Where with the injection doesn't do that. So that's another added benefit to doing the injection as well.
Absolutely. The best absorbency, the fastest transportation rate in the body. That means you're going to utilize it the best. Yeah. And at that point, you're not going to have any fillers or anything that's, giving you maybe that heartburn and stuff like that. Those are the fillers and stuff like that. And it's very acidic too. So, the injectable is definitely the way to go with this. And, a little bit goes a long way for sure. Can getting enough sleep help boost the immune system?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Because actually, the less sleep you get, it weakens your immune system.
100%.
So obviously, it works the opposite way. I know I've been fall victim to this in the past. A few weeks back, I was just working like crazy, not sleeping at all. Yep. And what happened? I got sick. Yep. Now, it could have been the amount of people I'm around because I'm in large crowds of people. And everyone's, shaking hands and bumping and close and stuff like that. But then again, every single time I've gotten sick in the past maybe 3 or 4 years, it's probably because of lack of sleep. I mean, germs and stuff adds to it. But if you don't sleep, it's like the worst thing. It's bad for your muscles. It's bad for your mind.
Yes.
It's bad for your immune system. It's bad for recovery. I mean, it's just
It's bad overall.
Yeah, definitely.
It's bad overall. And, just think about this. Like, yes, that could have been attributed to, being around people. But getting less sleep means you have less of a defense. Your immune system's not as strong. So, maybe if it was strong, maybe, you could be around these people and not be affected as much. Who knows? Maybe you still get affected the exact same way. But you're giving yourself a way better chance, better recovery, better mental clarity, more energy, and overall better health with getting enough sleep. And I think we're all guilty of that, too, of not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been actually getting a little better lately, but sometimes it's bad. I mean, sleep, you don't realize how much sleep affects you until you actually get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And then the next day you're like, wait, my elbow doesn't hurt. I don't have a headache. I can eat, So everything falls into place. And it's consistent sleep, too.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
People get, 3-4 hours of sleep, and then they sleep maybe one night out the week where they actually get decent sleep. You need to get consistent sleep.
Yeah.
One of the things we have here at Titan that will help with that, Serenity. It's injectable.
Serenity's great.
It'll help you naturally fall asleep. It's not going to, make you fall asleep at the wheel or anything like that. It's not going to make you over drowsy.
Yep.
But it's a gentle sleep aid that will help you fall asleep, and not just fall asleep, stay asleep.
Yep.
Because anyone can fall asleep, but you need that REM sleep, and actually to get recovery. You don't just want to rest your eyes. People say, "Oh, I'm just going to lay down for an hour, rest my eyes." You want to actually make sure you're asleep. But Serenity helps a lot with that. It's not addictive, so you don't have to worry about people taking sleeping pills every night, or sometimes people take muscle relaxers or painkillers just for the drowsiness effect.
Yep.
Where with Serenity, you're not going to have that problem. And again, a clean diet actually helps your sleep.
Absolutely.
People don't realize they don't talk about diet when it comes to sleep. But if you're eating clean and consistently, and drinking water and stuff consistently, then your sleep becomes more consistent. If you're all over the place, one day you may eat fast food, the next day you may not eat at all, next day you may be healthy, next day you may eat with sugar, you're all over the place. Your body doesn't know how to react to that.
100%.
So when your body doesn't know how to react, doesn't know how to recover.
Right.
So the more consistent you can be with your food, your workouts, your sleep patterns, everything falls into place.
Yeah. The more consistent you can be overall, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, with everything.
That's the main thing, consistency. It really is. Doing the right thing, being consistent about doing it. I mean, even sleep patterns. People might say, "Oh, I can't go to sleep that early." Well, it's training your body, right? Your body is used to routines, and it actually adapts to routines. So it's just like somebody that might work a night shift.
Yeah.
They usually sleep during the day, and their body starts adapting to that sleep pattern, and they can still get the sleep they need if they're in that cycle.
Yeah.
But just like my main thing would be police officers. There's Leos, right? And my good friends, they have to change shifts every so often, where they go from night shift to day shift. Yeah. Especially when they're newer.
And they're all over the place.
So it's tough for them. It's tough in those first couple of weeks that they change the shift to adapt. And at that point, they might have to use some different things like stay awake. They use a stimulant to stay awake, or whatever it may be, or energy drinks, whatever they're doing. And go to sleep, and they're like, damn, what can I do to go to sleep now? I have to train my body to go to sleep. So, it's wearing yourself out, getting into that pattern, and staying consistent with that. I mean, there's a lot of studies on sleep, and with the consistency of sleep and what it does, and using some of these other things like narcotics, or even Tylenol-PM, or even melatonin. This could be work into a negative effect for you. I don't think that. If you use melatonin, I know a guy that travels all the time, and the only time he ever uses melatonin is when he travels. He says, when I first get there, I can't sleep, I'll usually take melatonin. Now, if you use it sparingly, I don't think it would be a bad thing, but if you use it consistently, it's going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, melatonin's never really worked for me. I mean, I'm just being honest. It works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've actually even had clients that say melatonin helps, but for me it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but I mean, when I take Serenity, because the GABA, the tryptophan, all that stuff helps.
The best,
it helps a lot. We had a good question. If you could scroll up a little bit, Brian, asking about fruits and vegetables. Sarah Poulet says, "How does a diet high in fruits and vegetables support immune function?" Now, I'm not. Vegetables can support a little bit immune function. That's more so digestion and stuff. But in terms of fruits, red berries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, those are the highest fruits for antioxidants.
Yep.
So if you're looking for fruits that have specifically antioxidants, which is also similar to immune function, you want to do blackberries, raspberries. If you go to the grocery store, I get the frozen berries, the mixed berries, antioxidant. Those are the best in terms of immune function. Other ones help a little bit too. Vegetables, I'm not really a fan of vegetables.
Me neither.
The older I get, the more research I do on them. It's kind of more of a digestion thing.
Yeah, like a roughage, but
Yeah,
I mean, you
like-
get some, I guess. And like, I don't like vegetables. I'll be the first one to
I
tell
eat
you.
no vegetables. Yeah.
I eat green beans, and that might be bad. And I have to know who's preparing those green beans. And they're like,
Yeah.
anybody? Oh, green beans? Oh, great. No, that's not me. And like, I'm not down with the greens, dude. I never have been either my whole life. You know, and that might be bad to a certain extent, but I don't think so. And I mean, you know,
I actually think vegetables. I mean, they're still, they're good for you. They're healthy, but in terms of like, I mean, you'd be better off just eating, some quality steak, eggs, water.
I mean,
But I realize that now that vegetables used to be, make sure you eat your vegetables. Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, as long as you're using the bathroom correctly, because
Right.
some people need a high, dark, leafy vegetable just so they're using the bathroom.
Right.
But if you're using the bathroom correctly, and you're lean, and you're not, eating a whole bunch of processed foods or a whole bunch of fried foods, if you're eating clean vegetables, I mean, I'm not really sure you want to pound the vegetables like that.
No.
It's going to cause a whole bunch of bloat. It's going to cause other problems. But fruits. Now, fruits could be good, but you don't want to overdo the fruit as well.
No.
Mangoes, dates have extremely high in sugar. I think dates have the highest sugar content and carbs. So even though it is fruit, you're like, oh, it's fruit, I could eat it all day long. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's lean, that's maybe can get away with it. But just because it's not changing the scale doesn't mean you want to have hundreds and hundreds of grams of sugar.
No.
Even if it's natural all day long. You don't want to drink a whole bottle of honey.
No.
But a couple tablespoons is fine.
Absolutely.
So the sugar is the only problem I see with fruit.
Yeah.
I hate vegetables.
Yeah. And when you're talking about fruits, we're talking about like whole fruits.
Yeah.
And the reason you eat a whole fruit is because there's actually different things in there, like fibers and stuff, that will actually, because when you drink sugar, right? Anything with sugar, it automatically hits the bloodstream. It's the fastest, right? Your body starts trying to get it through. When you eat a whole fruit, this will slow down the leakage of sugar into the bloodstream, and you will absorb more naturally and to a slower level, and at that point won't spike your blood sugar levels.
Yeah, because your
wanna do
body's
that.
working to break it down. It's not already broken down. It's kind of like when people blend up their food.
Yeah.
You may get the same amount of macros, but it's going to be better if there's like, not liquefied, but somewhat broken down. So then your stomach and digestive tract can do the rest.
Yeah. What up, Tony? How you doing, bro? I know Tony from back in the day. Good dude. Awesome painter. Does all kinds of things. Big shout out to Tony. Big teddy bear.
The Vivid Moxie is asking, what are the side effects? Side effects in terms of what? We've talked about a couple different things. So I just want to make sure. Jack, you don't need it, Jack. Just jump on HRT. Jack, if you need if you need to looking to gain some muscle or recovery, 727-389-3220. I would say start out with some HRT if you qualify. So once you get your blood work done, if your test is low, you should qualify. But that's where I would start at. That's the safest, best way.
Yeah.
And you're going to be monitored too. So you're going to be looked at. Everything's going to be checked. You don't have to worry. You don't have to Google search. You don't have to ask your friend. But yeah, Jack, call the line and jump on some HRT.
Yeah, get your blood tested, man. See where everything's at. Then you make an educated decision on what you want to do and what you should do, where you can optimize. Walker said, my body is getting smaller. Head smaller, but scale stays the same. Why? Body's
Head
getting smaller.
smaller.
Head smaller. I mean,
Sounds like you're doing a recomp. When we say recomp, that basically means recomposition, which means basically the scale doesn't change, but the mirror changes.
Now,
Is your head getting smaller because your butt? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
yeah. Have you lost a lot of weight, and that's why your body's gotten smaller and your head's smaller? Well, I guess you haven't lost the weight because the scale hasn't changed.
That's kind of like what our goal is as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you say your body is smaller though.
Yeah, we don't want that. So listen, I mean,
like lean
we
tissue.
don't know, but I mean, listen, something like this could be a low testosterone thing. It could be a couple different things. Best thing to do, Walker, is blood test. Titan Medical Center sets it up nationwide. So wherever you guys are at, we make it simple and easy for you guys. We do everything. Just call or text us, 727-389-3220. What are the side effects of melatonin? All right, so let's talk about melatonin. I don't think there's enough education out there for the general public about melatonin. So melatonin is not they supplement it, but it's not a supplement. It's not a vitamin. It's not amino acids. It's actually a hormone. Melatonin's a hormone. And this is something you can buy readily over the counter. What does melatonin do in the body? Melatonin is the hormone that gets released when it starts getting dark outside. And it tells the body, listen, we need to go to sleep to shut down. That's what melatonin is, and that's what it does, like the layman terms, okay? But at this point, like if you do it with melatonin, you're desensitizing the body to melatonin. That's why you won't go to sleep then after you've used it for so long or in high doses of it. So starting kids out of melatonin gummies, which I've seen quite a bit.
They're everywhere.
Not a good idea if you got kids. You might think, they'll go to sleep finally. I'm telling you, you're hurting your kids by doing this. Don't do it. Wear their asses out. Take them outside. Make them run some laps around the house. I guarantee if you do that and you keep them off sugary diets before bed, you'll be golden. Yeah. If you don't, they're going to have an abundance of energy built up, and then you're going to feed them sugar right before bedtime. I see it all the time. You can't drink pop before you go to bed. Yeah. You're hitting a sugar rush. They ain't going to want to go to sleep. Yeah. You're sitting there with your damn eyes open and thinking about like counting things on the sky or the ceiling.
See, I think a lot of times too is because as I get older, like sugar didn't affect me, but kids, sugar affects them the way a caffeine does.
Yes.
Like there's not a whole bunch of sugar I could get right now and get a sugar rush where I'm hyper. But kids is different. So it's kind of like, older people are like, oh, I don't want to drink 2 cups of coffee. I have to go to bed.
Right.
Just look at a kid the same way. They don't want to eat that. People treat their dogs the same way. They're like, oh, my dog, I want him to go to sleep. I don't want to take him out. So I'm going to take him for a long walk.
Right.
I'm going to feed him his bowl, make sure he's got everything. So that way he can be tired and full and passed out.
Right.
Treat your kid the same way. He doesn't have to eat Doritos and candy.
Yeah.
Just have him eat a good quality, heavy meal.
For sure.
And do a little bit of, physical activity. Or if your kid's an athlete, maybe have them work out a little bit later in the day. And just, avoid all the all these medications they have for like ADHD and all this stuff. It's just,
dude,
they're like loading these kids up with stuff.
So
I guess half the people have ADHD.
All right, so
42% or something.
We might as well go off track on this real quick and talk about this because this is something that just happened. So, and not to be political in any way, shape, or form. So whether side you're on, I don't care. But RFK got confirmed. RFK is a lawyer by trade. Before he got confirmed, his dad was Robert F. Kennedy, and his uncle was John F. Kennedy, the president. So what he's been against his whole career, seed oils, food additives, right? And then what else? All these negative things that we've been talking about. Yeah. ADHD medications, antidepressants. So he just got confirmed the other day, like a day or two, right? He's already going after antidepressants right now. For kids especially. He's saying, why do kids have to be on SSRIs right now, right? Because there is no blood test. There is nothing that says this person is legitimately, like, depressed, right? Yeah. Usually, that has to go through treatment. They get, like, they talk to the person, and then they'll fill them out. And if they think they're depressed, then they'll put them on antidepressant. But so many kids are on antidepressants or ADHD medication. So many adults are on it. And at that point, like what are we doing here? Like, we're desensitizing our population. We're putting kids on, a Schedule 2 narcotic with Adderall. That's a Schedule 2. Testosterone is a Schedule 3. Schedule 2 is like oxycodone, okay? So that's a whole different level of medication. Like, it's serious. Yeah. So at this point, I think that we are going to get healthier as a whole, especially here in the United States with this leadership here. And people might not like it because there might be a lot of people that are on antidepressants and might think, I need this. Yeah. Where it might not be that you need an antidepressant. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people out there that might need antidepressants because I do think there is a small type of, if they went through something traumatic, they can't deal with it. If they're very, suicidal and depressive, then there's circumstances for this, right? But the general public, like, oh, my boyfriend broke up with me, and they throw you on antidepressants.
Yeah, it's one. If you come back from war,
and
you have
PTSD,
if you have PTSD, that's a whole different. If you have like something like that, but if you're just a little bit stressed out, like I think a lot of times lately, like, people don't have to think for themselves anymore. They don't have to. There's no dealing. There's no coping.
Yes.
When we're kids, like, the playgrounds were set up differently, so you have to be more cautious of knowing where you step, knowing where you grab. Now it's just like la-di-da-di, I could fall, I'm not going to get hurt.
Right.
Or the problem solving is going away too. Now kids could just talk into their phone, get the answer. I was talking to a teacher yesterday, and he was saying that, like, now in the books, you open the book and the answers are already highlighted. It's part of the book.
Right.
So there's no even thought process in terms of having to trouble search and find your answer. You could just Google. You could just ask AI. So it's like there's no people are not thinking anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's thinking for them.
It's
It's getting pretty bad.
It is.
It
is. I'm kind of glad that we grew up the way that we did, because that will never go away out of us, because that was the way we were programmed.
Like when I was a kid in high school, I don't even remember hearing ADHD. It was just like, oh, I'm hyper.
Right.
And like, Ritalin. Remember
Right.
Ritalin back in the
Course.
day?
Of
Ritalin,
course.
Ritalin.
Of course.
So nowadays, with Adderall, it's kind of like the new age Ritalin, where they're prescribing it for, it seems like the same thing.
Everything.
Yeah, but again, it's just the same addictive.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
addictive.
Of course.
And not only that, in terms of fitness, I know people that have used Adderall for fitness because, it curbs your appetite.
Right.
But you need to eat.
Right.
It's not good to not eat.
Right.
It's not good to have a whole bunch of energy and not eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically like a generic, cheap infomercial that sells fat burners. All it does is give you a whole bunch of caffeine and suppress your appetite.
Yep.
But there's no fat burning effect. So you're like all over the place.
Yep.
Adderall kind of do the same thing. So if you really, really, really need it, it's different.
Yep.
But I mean, people just need to learn how to deal with stress.
Yeah.
Learn how to get over the stress instead of just numbing it. Learn what's causing your headache rather than just numb it. Learn what's making you not be able to sleep rather than just take a sleeping pill. The same reason why BPC will fix your tendons in your elbow and make you feel better, or TB 500, rather than just take a painkiller.
Yep,
I think it has to work in every way.
Sure.
With the mind, the body, everything. We need to figure out how to actually for lack of a better term, not be
We need to get to the root of problems instead of masking
wimp.
problems.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. Is testing tirzepatide counterproductive? Absolutely not.
That's perfect. Right
Yeah,
there.
no, that's what you want, actually, David. The reason I'm saying that is because usually with GLP-1s, and I was reading last night, it was super cool, because GLP-1s are getting a bad name because, you lose a lot of weight and you might lose muscle with that weight. And the reason is because people aren't eating, right? But testosterone is going to help you keep that muscle on. Yeah. Along with the growth releasing peptide like testosterone, CJC, hexarelin, you're going to be balling, right? You're going to be holding on to that lean muscle. If it's eating, then listen, prioritize protein, fiber, you're golden. But they are working, and I'm talking about every pharmaceutical company right now, because I've seen all their lists of these medications they have in trials. They understand people are not happy with this, with losing weight and losing muscle along with it.
So now they'll,
They are making stuff that is going to help you keep muscle or even gain. I'm like, how the hell are you going to gain muscle by taking these? Dude, they're talking about some crazy,
like an
crazy
IGF.
no,
terzepatide.
Like the leptin hormone. They're manipulating that. The one that's in the bowl, I can't remember right off that. I'm having a brain fart, but
Andrew.
There's bulls, right? And these bulls, they're massively muscled, right? And that's because there's a certain hormone that's turned off.
The myostatin?
Myostatin.
Right. Myostatin. They have a myostatin deficiency. Yeah.
They're working on the myostatin manipulation. And if that is true, you're going to gain muscle while you lose weight.
Yeah, you look like the Belgian bulls. Those bulls that are those are the ones that have the myostatin deficiency.
Yes.
They have double muscle everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I'm not saying they're going to put double muscle on everybody, but if they can manipulate where you do not lose muscle or you actually retain or gain, that is the unicorn effect. That is doing everything that everybody wants to do. Yeah. I want to gain muscle, but I want to lose weight. How do I do that? And there are people that microdose these GLP-1s right now where they're not getting the superior curbed appetite, but getting just a little bit, and then getting the benefits of their insulin working properly, their pancreas working properly, and everything working along with that, because that's a whole different effect. And that's a whole different conversation as far as insulin goes. But yeah, I mean, it's super cool. Super, super cool. But yeah, I think that's a great thing to do.
Vivid Moxie, I agree. Says just go to the gym.
Yeah. Serotonin boost is like no other. This is super, super true. Even for people that are outside running, they get the endorphin kick, that endorphin high. Like this is something that, will get people going. But you got to lift weights. You want to retain muscle, and you don't want to just dwindle away. That's what, cardio is good, but lifting weights is the best for longevity.
Broderick, I would just recommend just the TRT or HRT without those other two. Mm-hmm. He says he started a couple other compounds. Looks like peptides type compounds. SARMs look like but I would just recommend HRT. A lot of times people start out with everything.
Yeah.
If you're going to start taking something, just start with TRT, which is testosterone replacement, or HRT, which is hormone, same thing.
Yep.
You don't need to start out with, 10 different peptides you found from some website and, some random sketchy pills from the guy at the gym, and then also TRT and fat burner. Just start out because you're not going to know what's working.
Right.
TRT, works because it's coming from a pharmacy,
Right.
That's different. So I would just recommend TRT to start.
Yep.
And then if you need to, you could throw in some ECA, testosterone, or whatever in there too. But all that other stuff, you're literally a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Like there's no places that prescribe those things.
Yeah. The best thing I could say is like, when you're thinking about like your body and like where to start, it's kind of like building a house. If you don't know how a house is built, the first thing they do is lay the foundation. Foundation's got to be there. After that, then they start building on top of the foundation. But it's got to be a solid foundation. And balancing your hormones and testosterone, mainly of one of these things, that's one of the main different things for your foundations. So at that point, that's got to be there. Hormones got to be dialed in, optimal, and then you're ready to go. And then you can start attacking whatever goal it is, whether it's to lose weight, gain more muscle, whatever it is.
The final boss, we have something here at Titan Medical that will actually work similar. Like I just said a little while ago, testosterone.
Yeah.
Testosterone is going to give you that lean tissue you're looking for from the compound that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's also going to target belly fat.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are taking what you want to take because it targets belly fat and gives them the muscle. Testosterone does the same thing.
Yeah.
And again, it's not going to tax your liver, your kidney. It's not an oral.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be trashing that. And you're going to get every last milligram, microgram. So I would say testosterone. You don't need that. We don't prescribe that every once in a while. But, I mean, if you're like, unless you have a muscle wasting disease or something like that, there's so many better options now.
I think
People
so.
just go with the basics. Like,
think so.
20 years ago, I took this. Yeah. We have so many other stuff. So, and again, if you call the number 727-389-3220, ask the medical provider, say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. What do you guys have?
Yep.
Because a lot of times people, they don't even know that, we have similar stuff. So even if you're blind, you don't know anything, say, hey, what do you guys have? What do you want to do? I want to lose weight, build muscle, target my belly fat. Boom. I need to sleep. Boom. My elbow's hurting. Just let them know. They make recommendations.
Yep. They'll personalize a recommendation for whatever you guys are trying to do. And that's the best thing about Titan. It's not cookie cuttered.
Roderick's got one for you.
Ooh, where we at?
He was asking about the price of TRT.
Oh,
yeah.
TRT. So usually it's between $225 and $375. That's just depending on what you're getting prescribed, dosage, and everything out the door. And if it was $375, you're talking about your testosterone, your estrogen blockers, your gonadal support, whether that be clomiphene or something else, your testosterone, syringes, shipping, medical review, all at the door.
Everything. Yeah.
Very transparent, very open. That's how it is.
And you said how much? You said?
So it's between $225 and $375, depending on what kind of package
You're talking $10 a day. I mean, that's like coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah.
So,
No,
and you're getting everything too. You're not just getting, we're going to send you a bottle of test and figure it out.
That's a 1 month therapy package too.
Yeah, $10 a day. I mean, come on, that's like crazy.
Yeah. And we do ship, so our pharmacies will ship directly to your doorstep. We're nationwide, guys. And you guys can just get blood work from us, or you guys get just TRT, or you want peptides, or whatever it is. So whatever you guys are looking for, we can help you guys out. Add hexavalent and AOD with tests? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a nice one, hexavalent.
Dude, for sure. You got a GHRP, you got AOD as far as the weight loss function, you got testosterone for your foundation. You're balling. That's a great combination.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. What are you trying to do, Zach, with that? I mean, I'm pretty sure you know what you're taking, but just to give me an idea, like, what are you looking for out of that stack?
Man, I mean, if I was looking at that stack to tell you what you're gonna get, I'll tell you what you're gonna get.
Muscle.
You're gonna get lean. You're gonna get some added muscle. You're gonna get your IGF-1 going up, which is gonna help with anti-aging all over, right? And then you're gonna have testosterone, which is by itself is just impactful, like super impactful. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about drive. I'm talking about self-value and self-worth, that feeling of self-confidence.
Yeah, there's nothing like the sense of well-being you get with tests.
That's the main thing.
People dragging around, know what's wrong. I used to be,
yeah, dude.
You take some tests, next thing you know, like, whoa.
Shut up. Wake up.
Now I got my,
wake up.
Now I can actually,
Yeah, man.
Trade 30, if you hit 225 on a Smith machine, does it actually count? Of course it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't count as, a flat bench, but anything's good.
Listen, you're getting it stabilized, for you. That's about it. Now, it's a little bit different when you're on a flat bench and you got that bar by yourself because you're using stabilizing muscles. So it might be a little bit different, but you're still putting up weight. That's still good. I mean, even with a small percentage of people who can't do 225, and I mean, they can't do it on a Smith machine either. So
Trey, how much do you weigh? Just wondering how much you weigh. But yeah. Also, too, Smith machine's great for people that have shoulder injuries or front delts, because when you're holding the bar, you have to hold the bar from going up and down, which is rotating your front delt. When you have a Smith, you can just find where it's at and just push. So actually, Smith machine helps a lot. I love Smith machine incline, so I might like to go back and forth. 165, 225, that's good.
Yep.
That's good work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good work at 165. I mean,
dude.
That's good work right there.
For sure.
Now, if you were 425, man, it's still okay. I mean, if you're trying to get back into it, but 225, I know guys that weigh 200 that can't get that. So that's good work.
Yeah. I mean, you should at least be able to bench your body weight, right? But if you're benching more than your body weight and that good percentage, that's definitely it. Do y'all use FDA pharmacies? Yes. We use FDA outsourcing facilities, which are pharmacies. Those are 503Bs. And we use 503As, which are patient-specific ones too as well. Those are compounding pharmacies. They're not FDA pharmacies, but they're U.S. licensed pharmacies. The exact same thing as like a Walgreens or anything else. Because those aren't FDA outsourcing facilities either. Those are just pharmacies. All right?
Final Boss, you can just call 727-389-3220, or you could text that number and just let them know, hey, I want to start an TRT, and they'll get you started.
Yeah, we'll get you going for sure.
You could also text that number too. So you're asking about a DM. Sometimes people don't like to talk. Just text that number. Same thing. They'll get back to you as soon as possible. It's going to be a person too. It's not going to be automated robot and all this. You'll get right back, and just be specific in the text. I always tell people when they're texting that number, be specific. Let them know what you want. Let them know what you're trying to do from that.
We're going to pin the number for you right now. This is the best way. You should text or call, and that will be an immediate response for us. All right. Deb Starr, this is a good question. I'm confused between which to use, Tesamorelin, Semarelin, or Iprone with CJC 1295. Let's go through it, right? Semarelin was developed many, many years ago. It was one of the first GHRPs to ever be approved. This was supposed to replace growth hormone with dwarfism, growth hormone disorder, growth hormone deficiencies. Semarelin worked back in the day. It was like when we first got into this business, that was like the only one on the market.
That used to be like, Semarelin. That was
GHRP2 and GHRP6. But, after 3 to 6 months, it doesn't work as good. So that's on the bottom totem pole. The next one up would be your CDC 1295 with Iprone. Really, really good, right? Works very well. It's 2 different peptides working synergistically together to give you the better result of stimulate your own growth hormone in your pituitary. Great. That's a good one. Better half-life than Semarelin. Works a lot longer, for sure. Then you have Tesamorelin. That's the top big daddy dog. Raises IGF-1 levels, so it does better than CJC and Iprone working together. And it has the added benefit of going after visceral belly fat tissue. So,
good summertime one right there.
That is like when I said to somebody, or like even when I was like, holy this is what it does. Like, wow. And I'm talking about FDA approval on that one. Like, they had to have studies. They had to have people. Like, it was good. So, Tesamorelin is your best one you can go with. CAC 1295 with Iprone. Well, I would do Hexarelin. That would be second. And then CDC 1295 with Iprone third. And then Semarelin fourth, if I was going to go into any category or order.
Does it raise insulin? Do those raise your insulin?
No.
Okay, that's good.
None. None will mess with sugar levels. And that's a big thing because growth hormone, as you know, can mess with sugar levels and actually can turn people to type 2 diabetics. So
I've seen a lot of bodybuilders. They're like, "Oh, growth hormone, growth." I'm like, "Look, IGF, IGF-1, LR3, that's growth." And next thing you know, they take growth.
Yeah.
Their head gets bigger.
Yeah.
Their feet and hands get bigger, and they're like literally full of water. I don't understand it. Like, growth hormone or HGH, literally, some people makes their body full of water. They're uncomfortable and they're lethargic. You're not going to get lethargic with Tesamorelin or CJC or Iprone. No. You're not going to have that lethargic feeling. And it's a lot cheaper.
It is.
A lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper.
You can take a high-dose IGF. I took high-dose IGF here like a year or 2 ago. I felt great. So if you guys can afford high-dose IGF, which is still like half the price of growth hormone.
Yes.
I would definitely recommend high dose. And when you call, let them know I need high dose. Some stuff you can't take high dose. You have to start low. But other stuff you could order as much as you need to. So when you call and you want IGF-1 LR3, say I want the high dose. Say I want the big boy dose. And then if you qualify for it, that's what you get.
Yep. And if you guys all just tuned in now, $25 off all immune system boosting therapies this week. It ends today. Next week, giving you a sneak peek, 10% off all of our weight loss therapies. GLP-1s, semaglutide, tirzepatide, retatrutide. Brand new big boy on the block. No nausea.
Retta.
And I'll tell you what.
Sounds like an auntie
Dude,
Retta.
we've got people on this right now because we just launched, I think, like a couple weeks ago, right? So now I'm like, I want the feedback. So I started calling these patients and writing these patients. And, man, I feel even better about it. I'm like, holy cow.
That's
like,
good.
this one guy's like, man, just melting off. I was like, it's only been like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, he's like, I've lost like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And in the studies clearly show it works in half the time with tirzepatide, 100% effective, minimal side effects like nausea and all that. So, if this keeps working out the way it is, I mean, like I said, there's going to be better ones coming down the block. But I mean, this is just another tool.
No excuses. Josh, the new one is retatrutide. It just call it Retta for short.
Yep.
But it's retatrutide. I know you're asking about the new one. That's the one that we're just talking about now. It's the newest one, melting fat off people. So Retta, RETA.
Yep. Retatrutide. All right. What do we have on the other comments on the other side? There
Scroll down a little bit. Might be some
We got
more.
other ones?
Alex is asking which foods are rich in antioxidants, help boost immune system.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, fruits,
Yep.
red berries, blackberries, raspberries, mixed berries are also very good in boosting immune system. Also, quality fish.
Yep.
Not, farm-raised salmon.
No.
But as long as it's quality fish, that will help as well.
God, I was talking to somebody about that. It was some young kid,
farm-raised salmon.
It's like, yeah, farm-raised. I'm like, no. They're like, but it's farm-raised. I'm like, you understand what farm-raised means.
Yeah,
like,
it's a puddle that they just threw a whole bunch of fish in.
and they're like swimming around in their own feces and eating it. Like, it's no good, man. Like, no good. So, just know what you're doing. Know what you're eating for sure. That's like the main thing. Like,
also, garlic helps with immunity.
Yeah.
Onions help with immunity. Turmeric is good. It's not so much a food, but turmeric's good. You can add that to your food.
That's a good one.
And if you get garlic or ginger is also well too. If you get actual ginger, but if you get ginger, one thing, if you get the actual ginger, like the actual pieces of ginger, don't keep it in your fridge. People don't realize that you need to keep it in like a cool, warm area or like a dry area. Yeah. Putting it in your fridge will take away the effects of it. So.
Redbone, we do everything nationwide, from hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, vitamin amino acid injectable therapies, rejuvenation detox, libido enhancers, peptide therapies, and blood work. Very extensive, in-depth blood work. And all of these things are very inexpensive. I mean, compared to everybody else out there, I've been looking, especially blood work. Blood work is super inexpensive compared to everybody else out there.
And we do, I talked to someone today, actually, at the gym earlier today, and they were, military, veteran, and they said when they, just like I've heard before, when those military people go get their testosterone, that's all they check is testosterone. Yeah. So that's another thing, too. Yeah. Not only is our blood work a lot less expensive, I'm not going to say cheap because we do a full panel. Yeah. I'd rather say inexpensive because it's quality.
Yes.
But a lot of times we say our blood work's less expensive, but it's also full panel.
Yes.
So you're going to get your anastrozole if you need it. You're going to get, 8-CG or enclomiphene if you need it.
Yeah. New here, so how do we go about it? Call or text 727-389-3220. The number is actually pinned up in that conversation for you guys. That's our only number, main number, call or text. All right? Hokage, I'm thinking about hiring a bodybuilder coach and not trying to compete, but for knowledge. Well, you can get Drew.
I got you, Hoke.
Drew is here for you guys, right? So, obviously Drew is my brother. I trust Drew. He works along with me. So he's very knowledgeable and can definitely help you to where you guys want to go in that aspect. All right. And if he ever has any questions, you need to call me and be, hey, John, what should we do? And bam, we're done. So, but he's got it all dealt. So at that point, you guys can contact him and he'll take care of you on that.
Yeah, I got you. We got another one too. What was it? Gisley 612. How do I get rid of scar tissue from pinning? If you guys hear pinning, that basically means injections. It's hard to get rid of scar tissue that's too thick. So that's why I say when we send you our therapy, I don't send you when they send you the therapies, use the insulin needles that come with it. A lot of times people, they want to take so much at one time. I've done it myself. You want to use the smallest needle possible. So the bigger the gauge, the smaller the needle. So if you hear 30 gauge, that's going to be really, really thin. If you're 22, it's going to be thicker. The easiest way to avoid scar tissue, because it's kind of hard to get it out there once it's too far in there, is use a smaller needle.
Right.
and then move it around a little bit. Don't just inject the same spot. Even if you have to move it over just a little bit, the less amount of holes you put in your body, better. But if the scar tissue is too bad, they can go down and break it down a little bit, but I've seen sometimes where it's just a knot. So the easiest way is to prevent the scar tissue from happening, and I would say use a smaller or larger gauge needle.
So tap in with Drew. You guys can contact him straight. But I'm telling you, get the blood work so he has something to look at too as well, so we know where we're going with that.
Definitely. Definitely.
What's good for gut health and Crohn's? BPC 157. This is isolated from gastric juice in the stomach. Very effective for gut health and Crohn's.
Yeah. Acid reflux, GERD, all that stuff helps great. Hiccups too. Chronic hiccups, BPC 157 actually helps. I had chronic hiccups a few years back. Remember, I was like 2 days, I couldn't even, it was hurting. BPC actually helped that. So shout out to Chenille, one of our medical providers over here to put me onto that.
And it says, what's up with the Prometheus? 4. What's it for? Okay. So Prometheus is another weight loss therapy that we offer here.
I forgot about that.
That's another one. We offer a lot of different things. So Prometheus is an oral, capsule that you would take. This is for weight loss. This is good for daily use. It'll boost your mood too as well. And plus, like I said, it will help for the weight loss effect too as well. And it will help sugar levels too. Do you all do the same thing as Merrick? So I guess to a certain extent, we do a lot more than Merrick. And I think the pricing is a lot better than Merrick. But, I don't talk bad about any other company. I know a lot of people that go to Merrick and too as well. But I just think that Titan does their own thing, and we're not in the same category. Like the way the customer service is for patients, cutting-edge therapies, I know we offer some different things that no other place does. So at that point, I think we're in a different category all by itself.
Nick, I would recommend not taking the Stanzolol at all or the Tren. Your test is 4 times an HRT dose, so I would recommend just doing HRT. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to add to what you're taking that works like Stanzolol, again, testosterone is like the closest thing to that. It's going to add muscle. It's going to keep you dry. It's going to help with belly fat because it keeps you drier and helps burn fat, get you stronger as well. But what you're taking right there, I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take that because between that 400 milligrams and the stands, your liver, your kidneys is going to be taxed heavy. Heavy.
Josh said, how does the Wellbutrin affect the body? Dopamine. I like it. So you've obviously read into what is Prometheus. So Prometheus, it has Wellbutrin in it. It does have Wellbutrin in it. And it has metformin in it too as well. Those are the main ingredients, like the 2 active main big ones. I think B12's in it too as well. But at that point, the Wellbutrin has an affect the body, so it will affect the dopamine. It will make you happier. That's kind of what it does, and it does curb cravings too as well. Wellbutrin. Wellbutrin, they use it for a number of different things. They use it for anti-addiction, like especially smokers. Like it helps them big time. Drinkers, they do it with some narcotics in some sorts. It's a big one. So it's used heavily. Prometheus, there's a lot of patients that utilize it. For me, like I said, it's something that I utilize daily, and I don't even talk about it that much. And honestly, I should start talking about it more. But it's a good one. It's definitely a good one for sure, and it can be combined with a lot of different therapies too. What about TRT and CJC? That's a great combination. We talk about GHRPs like CJC or testosterone or hexarelin, and you add that with TRT because TRT should be your main thing. It should be the foundation. Then you add on top of that like building blocks. So that's definitely one for sure. Yeah, that's a good combination.
Shout out to Christian Dior. Shout out to Paxton.
Yeah.
You're going to come next week. Looks like Christian Dior is going to be here next week.
Nice. I love it.
Denor,
yeah. Okay. That's awesome.
Nice.
Paxton Hall, we appreciate it as always. What else we got? Any more questions? This Q&A is great. Glad I seen it. You're welcome.
Nice.
Tune in every week for us, guys. 2 p.m. is when we normally go on. We might be a couple minutes late here or there getting here, but we're usually pretty accurate on the 2 p.m. time.
Eastern
Standard Time, right? Please continue to inspire. We appreciate that.
Love all the love we're getting today. We're getting a lot of love today.
Yes.
We got to wrap it up. Looks like we got a little bit of time left.
We got 10 minutes
50-year-old
left.
this summer, thoughts on pre-workouts and getting older, yes or no? I would say no in terms of actual, like a caffeine-boosted pre-workout. What you could take here with Titan would be ECA, ECA Plus, which is going to give you energy, pump, blood flow, fat-burning effects, And I would also recommend Hercules Potion. So that's basically my pre-workout.
Yes.
It's going to give you the energy, fat burning, breathing, and pumps. And stamina.
Yep.
A lot of times Hercules Potion is just, the veins, the pump.
Yep.
But I can go and go and go. So
Yeah.
ECA and Hercules Potion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take pre-workouts at that age, especially if you haven't been taking them.
Yeah.
Because that's like an overload of additives and caffeine and dyes and heartburn and all that stuff.
I wouldn't worry about the caffeine, but there's a lot in some of them. But I worry about like overstimulation, taking 2 scoops. Scoop and a half, not measuring out correctly, and then you have all the other garbage in there that makes your skin crawl.
Proprietary blends. You don't even know what's in that. I mean,
stomach's all on blast. You
got to run to the bathroom halfway in because it's.
Dude, I used to do that, man. I mean, that used to be like almost a ritual for me. And it was just,
it's like you just wait. Oh, here it comes.
NO2 explode, dude, and I would explode in the bathroom, bro. But I used to drink the original NO2 explode when it came out. That used to be my pre-workout. What I used to take.
Wow, I forgot about that. And Jacked and the original Jacked.
I haven't taken any of things like that for like 12 years, guys. So it's for me. I look at it now. I'm like, I don't even know how I took this shit.
612 looks like he'll be calling soon. Nice.
Awesome. All right, I'll be making a Titan call very soon. Love it. All right. So listen, I think we've got some topics too to talk about.
Yes, we do have some topics. Do we have time, Brian? Do we have time for these topics? Or how much time
Let's just run through it real quick.
One of my topics is NFL players are now avoiding opiates for pain. The study finds. This is crazy to me. It says that 52% of NFL players were basically taking, more than 52% said they used an opiate or painkiller during their career.
Right.
And then it says among that group, 71% reported they misused the drug.
Yeah.
So that's like almost 3/4 of the NFL taking painkillers, opiates. Opiates, will be the painkillers because they're trying to mask the pain of being beat up for all the years in football.
Yeah, had to play every week.
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of times they try to mask the pain. But again, like me and John said, you don't need to mask the pain, you need to fix it. Mm-hmm. So I'd recommend some of these guys, even a guy I know myself that plays here in Tampa, he benefited a lot from these healing peptides that we're talking about.
Right.
And they actually fixed his problem.
Yeah.
Rather than, just take painkillers. So I take every week, don't take over-the-counter painkillers, don't take prescribed painkillers. Try to figure out the problem and fix it.
Absolutely.
But it was just crazy that, like, people always talk about wrestlers because they take a lot of painkillers and this and that, but I didn't realize it was that high.
Oh, yeah.
Basically half the NFL. And when guys have that type of money, they're not worried about money or whatever. They're just like, hey, go get me these.
Yeah.
It's not good. And what happens is that's why you see a lot of people, once they retire and they stop taking the painkillers, now all of a sudden they go around, they can't even walk.
Right.
Last year you were playing, and then this year you can't walk.
Right.
So between the cortisone shots, between the opiates, between all that stuff, I mean, I've taken cortisone shots myself. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
but it's like these guys will go in at halftime, get a cortisone shot, take a painkiller, and go back in the game.
Right.
Then once that wears off, they're hobbling around the house. Next week, I got to get ready to go. They do it all over again. So once they stop, it's a problem. So I say this to say, fix the problem rather than numb it.
Yep.
NFL guys, I think you guys can take some of the BPC and CJC and TB500 that we have. I would say make sure you check the list or ask your trainer, your manager, whoever you're dealing with. But again, don't get addicted to painkillers because not only is it going to be addicting, the feeling, it's going to be literally addicting. We're going to withdrawal symptoms. You'll be sweaty and vomiting and feverish and literally like someone who's addicted to meth or crack or cocaine.
Bad. Yeah, it's bad.
It gets really, really bad. So fix the problem rather than mask it. It seems like the NFL is doing a little bit better to fix the problem.
I mean, I remember like when this really came out.
Yeah.
Like the big one was Brett Favre.
Yeah.
He was addicted to Vicodin.
Yeah.
Right, and he was talking about how he took like, I don't know, it was like 10 to 12 Vicodin a day, and then it kind of went up.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's
you
crazy.
Build a tolerance to the medication, and you have to take more for it to effectively work. And then at that point, your body is now it runs on it, and you need it just to get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Like I went through this personally with my family. As far as addiction to opiates and other painkillers. I've got cousins that they would take literally like 12 Vicodin before they got out of bed, just to get out of bed.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then they put one of the morphine patches on. And then just go day by day like this. I'm surprised he's even alive and doing well. So thank God of that because he got off most of the stuff. But this could become a very, very bad path. And obviously for athletes, they're like, listen, this is our livelihood. I have to perform. This isn't for fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't get paid unless I go out there, right? And majority of these guys, and they want to perform. Like athletes, they don't want to lose their spot.
Yeah.
Like I mean, think about that. I mean, think about how Tom Brady came in the league. Tom Brady was a backup till Bledsoe went out one game, and then he came in and he never got his job back.
Yeah,
So you got to think about things like that too. And I mean, they're gonna do anything they possibly can to get back on that field or the court or whatever it is to play. And it's crazy. So other things are out there. Please, the opiate thing that hits me home like pretty hard. And at that point, it's a bad. Those things are the devil, dude. They're the devil straight up.
Yeah.
My topic was, let's go do this because I only got a short time. Overuse of muscle building products associated with body image condition.
Yeah.
So body dysmorphia,
Yeah.
all right? And that's the big guy thinking he's small in the mirror, or
That'd be me.
and that's
That'd be
me.
me.
I think that's every guy out there. Because we start somewhere like, and then you see that person in the mirror, and that's how you think you look the whole time. Right?
I'm the same way. I'm like, my arms are smaller. Hey, people are like, man, you got 22,
Right.
23. Yeah, I just feel it. I don't feel like I have a pump. Yeah. And then as soon as I take some Hercules, do a couple push-ups, okay, now I'm back. A lot of times people aren't losing, they're just flat. They just need to get a pump. So.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like I noticed the people that take more stuff, they look the worst.
Yeah.
People that are just mixing up powders all day long, taking all kinds of injections, this, that, what. I'm like, really? You're taking all that to look like that?
Yeah.
It's not good. Like,
Sack of
less
potatoes.
is more. Yeah,
Right.
Keep it simple. Less is more.
Yeah, quality over quantity, guys, for sure. And with this, it talks about how like 50% of 16 and up males in particular are using some sort of muscle building supplement. That could be creatine, or that could be some over the counter powder like BCAAs, whatever it may be. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we're getting a lot of bad raps on. Now, I do agree with some of the things like there are supplement companies out there. There's some that are shady and might have thrown prescription drugs in, anabolic steroids in. I mean, there's been documented cases of this, but majority aren't doing that right now. Now, what you're getting might not be good, but it's not something like that. Right. And there's some companies out there that do very well, right? And they're good by that. So at that point, like, I think it's a good thing that our male population wants to be strong. We need to be strong. We need to bring testosterone levels back. We need to bring fertility back. That's an all-time low around the world. So there's different things. So I think that especially New York, like they're focusing on banning all supplements. So you can't even get creatine unless you're 18 years and up in New York.
It's not good because actually creatine's safe for sitting. I was just reading a study.
5 milligrams has been studied the most out of any supplement out there. And brain function. I mean, I'm talking about I just build a muscle, right? Yeah. So, I think that we need to look at this and say, hey, listen, there might be some bad supplements out there, but there might be some supplements that, because of our food sources and such, that maybe might be good for people to take, right? So, that's this. Love you, John. Titans are always the best. Is it true that caffeine increases cortisol levels, and does that make more fat? It doesn't. It's not true that caffeine will increase cortisol levels. Now, if you're in an extreme amount of caffeine every single day and you have high stress, and this could possibly raise cortisol levels.
Yeah, but if you OD on it, basically if you take too much for too long, but just a standard 100 or 200 milligrams. I know doctors recommend 200 a day. That's why you see mostly energy drinks or caffeine tablets or 200 milligrams a day. Yep. But you don't want to get in the habit of just. I know people that. I tell them not to, but they literally take a caffeine pill. A couple hours later, take another one. A couple hours. They'll literally do that all day long. Now that will increase your cortisol,
absolutely,
especially after time.
Absolutely.
After about 2 or 3 weeks, taking 200 milligrams 2-3 times a day, it will definitely.
And actually, so I seen Brady, the upper limit of caffeine. So the upper limit of caffeine, the daily dose that is recommended is 400 milligrams. Anything over 400 milligrams, they say, is an overdose of caffeine.
And the 400 milligrams also, it shouldn't be taken all at once. I mean, I'm sure people do.
Right.
But when they say 200 a day, it doesn't mean you take 400 or 200 all at once.
Yep.
You could do 200 at once, but I wouldn't recommend taking 400 milligrams all at once.
No.
Even if you're immune to it. People that have been taking caffeine every day for years and years, they're like, oh, well, I need 600. You don't need 600. You need to figure out what's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Right. And should you train while sore? So should you train while you're sore? We'll go with 3 protein-packed meals after that. Should you train while you're sore? I don't think you should train the muscles that are sore. I don't. If you're, let's say it's a leg day and 2 days later your legs are sore as hell, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go train legs again. I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe give yourself a couple days rest. because honestly, you don't have to be sore to gain muscle, right? I think majority of people get really, really. Because do you get sore like after your workouts, like nowadays, like after every workout?
Depends what the workout is. I get real tight in the pump, but my body's always been able to recover pretty quick.
Right.
Like my ligaments and joints feel sore, but my muscles, I've always had a crazy recovery time.
Right.
Even when I was younger playing sports, I could play football and get banged up, and then the next day pretty much feel fine.
Yeah.
I mean, my legs get trashed.
Yeah.
My calves get trashed.
Yeah.
But I won't feel soreness that day. It's usually like the third day.
Yeah, 2-3 days later.
So like, say if I train arms today, maybe like Saturday, I'll feel a little soreness, but yeah. I mean, it's not good to go back in the gym if your muscles feels like 100% bruised and sore.
No.
It's still recovering. Let that muscle grow.
Yeah, you got to recover. You got to let the muscle heal and build itself back up. But that doesn't mean you can't go train something else, right? So, listen, if your biceps are sore, hit legs. Go hit core. Do something different at that point where you can give that muscle a little bit of rest, but you're still beating the body up a little bit. And even with that, you need to let the body rest too as well so it can recover all the way. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of. What's your top 3 protein-packed meals for bulking? Steak, more steak.
Yeah, I would say top 3 protein for me would be steak, eggs, salmon.
Yeah,
for me,
steak and eggs for sure. I mean, listen, I eat salmon too. I just don't get it all the time.
Yeah,
but I think those are 3 big ones for you as far as that goes. I mean, you can always add a protein shake in the mist as supplementation, but you want to get that good food source of that protein. And
no, not farmed salmon. We have another person saying anti-aging guru. Farmed salmon is the world. You have to get wild caught.
Yes.
Wild caught.
Yes, like out in Alaska, like they're going out there, they're catching it wild, they're bringing it back.
Yeah, you don't want farmed. You don't want farmed anything. You don't want farmed tilapia. You don't want farmed anything. You want wild caught. Look at anti-aging.
Well, we don't want that, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 use of GH harmful to the body. I'm not going to say it's not harmful to the body. It's, it could probably work. Is there better things, more cheaper? Yes. But do usually people follow that 2 IU thing of GH? Yes. That's what they usually do. What else we got? I don't think we got anything else.
That looks like pretty much it.
All right. So what do we got event-wise? Event-wise, we've got that we've locked in the schedule for sure. We are the title sponsor of Tampa Pro once again this year. Hurricane Pro, we're a main sponsor of that again this year. Olympia will be following. And then we're planning out some different events for this year. So at that point, hopefully Titan will have another big event. I know my birthday's this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
That's not an open event to everybody, but I wish it was.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But there are going to be a lot of people attending this. And Sharice told me there's special guests coming in from around the country. So let's see who shows up.
You're going to like it. You're going to like it. You'll see. It's going to be nice.
Hey, I like it every year, right?
Yeah.
And I don't expect anything.
But every year it's pretty much similar. This year is a whole new location.
So, it's going to be a new location. I'm kind of, and I know location. So at that point, that is it's a step up, I think, as far as location-wise. It's going to be ridiculous. And like I said, I can't wait. I just like going there and, getting to be around my people. And some people I don't get to see or talk to maybe once or twice a year. And it's super cool to catch up with them. And then get and hang and do things with my bro Drew and all the rest of the people that get to show up, family and all that. It's a great time. So you guys are good to see it on video if you guys aren't there. I appreciate you guys on that though. Thought on DECA only low dose. I would never use DECA only by itself. We do use Nandrolone in here for some patients, and I've talked to the providers about possibly introducing this for people that have some joint pain, some shoulder issues, knee issues. We've seen some good things at a low dose.
Yeah. You don't want to blast. You don't want to blast DECA to gain size.
No.
Therapeutic, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. I see people that take it to try to gain size. And that's not good because then your progesterone's going to go up, your prolactin's going to go up, and you're going to fill your body with too much water.
Yeah.
So low dose, maybe. But again, BPC 157, TB 500. That's going to fix the problem, like we've been saying all show. DECA is basically it's not a painkiller, but will mask the pain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good for older people that have joint problem, but for people that lift heavy, bodybuilders, it's not. You don't need to take it for that reason.
Right. Can you touch on some bad sides of insulin usage? Yeah, you could die if you take too much.
You could die, and your stomach could get too big.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen with insulin. I wouldn't mess with it. Okay.
You could literally black out. You could take it. I know a guy who took it. He blacked out. He woke up. He was in the hospital, and his mom. This is a grown man, but his mom was holding his hand like as he was waking up in the hospital. He's like, "Yeah, I went to the break room at work. Next thing you know, I'm waking up in the hospital. Don't do it. You could literally die on the spot.
Yeah.
It's like the meth of bodybuilding, where you could take it one time and you could die. So
don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's it, guys, though. We appreciate all you guys, man. It's been awesome.
We'll see you guys next week and girls next week. If you're watching YouTube video, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. We got the podcast, TikTok, Instagram, and also Facebook. Back next week.
Yes,
Tight
sir.
Lifestyle.